Hi guys, welcome back to the Astrology. Today we are coming up with a new video of Jupiter retrograde. Now we've done the transit video of Jupiter in the last two occasions where we talked about Jupiter's transit into the Mrikshira Nakshatra as well as Jupiter getting into the Taurus sign itself. If you've not had a chance, please check out my transit playlist and you will find both of those videos. Thank you for all the love and support you've offered me throughout this journey. And I really feel excited about shooting this video because of all the comments that you had sent out in my October monthly reading. Jupiter is getting into retrograde motion from October 9th, and it is going to continue in this retrograde motion all the way till February 4th. So, about 119, 120 odd days, you will find that this Jupiter is going to be in retrograde motion. Now, for the next 4 months, what should be your strategy, your thought process, and how you should be approaching this period in terms of making the best use of this transit is what I'm going to discuss in this video. So, without any further delay, let's jump into the reading. Aries. As you guys can see, Jupiter is sitting in retrograde in your second house. From here, Jupiter gets enormous amount of strength to help you increase all the attributes from a second house perspective. These 4 months are going to be absolutely critical for you to figure out how you can leverage the support from your family members as well as leverage your wealth in itself to empower you in terms of your career, empower in terms of your strength, your physical strength itself, your health regimen. You are going to see a definite increase in the next 4 months in terms of your energies diverging into all these areas. What you will realize is that some of the efforts that you were putting into play and were not coming into fruition, some of the gains that were unrealized yet, will be materializing for you in the next 4 months. Very importantly, many of you would see that at your job front, there will be a very, very strong possibility of a diagonal or incremental growth. What do I mean by that? It means that you could be getting promotions in the next 4 months, or you could be getting job opportunities which are not just an incremental switch to your salaries, but also an increase in your overall designation or your structure in itself. So, the first and foremost impact will definitely be on your career. Now, the retrograde Jupiter is also aspecting your 10th house, which means not only you will do well in your career, but you will also be getting the support of your superiors, your bosses, your gurus in general. So, if you have a mentor around you, please leverage the guidance that they share with you because that is going to help you rise in your career. Your destiny, your fortune overall will start supporting you in these 4 months. And this is going to be an excellent period for you to make sure that you the right career choices as well. So focus towards diagonal as well as incremental growth if you're not looking for any kind of changes. The second development that you will find is that there is a possibility of you taking measures to improve on your health. If you've been struggling from a health perspective, if you've had any kind of surgeries, any kind of operations during this period in the last few months, you will see good recovery out of it. You will also be taking right medical support to help you come out of those medical issues as well. These 4 months are going to be absolutely critical to help you, even if it is in your main dashas, maha, and antar, you have been facing those challenges. So, good period to work on your physical self as well. The other thing is that you in general will be looking forward to acquire a lot of knowledge. And I wouldn't be surprised if the mentor that I was referring a few seconds back could be playing some sort of a role in that perspective as well. You might be engaging in terms of some spiritual topics and discussions in your friend circle. I see that because of the 10th and the 9th connection also happening in your case. You will in general command decent amount of respect from your social circle. Very importantly, you will get into a pursuit of acquiring that knowledge by yourself if you do not find a guru. It could be through YouTube, through reading books, or through reading blogs, or whatever source and medium you find suitable for yourself. Last but not the least, there will be definite improvement in your relationship with your partner, with your spouse. You will see that you are able to express yourself in a much more pleasant and calm demeanor with your partner. It's going to be a good thing. Relationship with your spouse would not only be impacted, but also with your in-laws. I do not anticipate much of sudden gains coming in. And why? Because my belief is, from a transit perspective, the impact on that front could be minimalistic. However, some of you might see success in that front as well. But overall, I think the next 120 days are an excellent opportunity for you to make good use of this time, and hopefully you find success in all your endeavors. Thank you for watching Dave Astrology. Taurus. In your case, Jupiter is getting retrograded in your first house itself. Guys, first of all, it's a powerful thing to happen in your Lagna, in your ascendant house itself. Why? Because somewhere or the other, you are going to be filled with immense amount of strength and knowledge as well. See, Jupiter is the lord of your 8th as well as your 11th house. Your 11th lord sitting in Lagna, your 8th lord sitting in Lagna and getting retrograded means somewhere or the other you will be motivated towards your wish fulfillment and gains. I will not be surprised if you are going to be spending next 4 months in terms of pushing yourself to the zilt to make sure that you make full use of this period. Unexpected gains come your way, but also the desired goals, targets, and achievements that you've planned for. This is a period you have to work in full force to make it happen. Jupiter will have an impact from your 12th house perspective as well. Yes, it is going to bring in certain kind of expenses, but I believe that expense will be in the form of your spiritual energy, in terms of you putting in effort from a physical self perspective. I urge you to do that, because you exuding your physical body into those areas or immersing yourself, learning something new from what you've not known before, is going to bring the gains that we are talking about, both from an 8th as well as 11th perspective. See, the 8th and 12th connection into the Lagna clearly means that this is a time for you to enlighten yourself spiritually. Let go of what has been bothering you this far and focus what you are going to do in the next 4 months in terms of expanding your mental self. But at the same time, at a materialistic level as well, being the 11th Lord, this Jupiter is going to bring that willpower in you, that knowledge in you, that is going to ensure that you fulfill your goals. This Jupiter retrograde will also be aspecting your 5th, 7th, and 9th house. It is very important for you to understand that this is a period that you should not just grow your own knowledge, but inculcate some of the principles, lessons, guidance to your kids as well. It's going to be a very, very good period for you to make the right investment choices as well. From your marriage perspective, there could be situations where you might come across too prescriptive and act like a guru to your spouse as well. To a certain extent, it is not a bad thing. However, overdoing anything could be tricky, and you might want to be mindful of the same. You should take care that you are not asserting yourself too much to your partner, or else it might create certain ripples from that perspective. And guys, when I say partner here, I do encompass both your spouse as well as your business partners as well, because they will be welcoming towards your new ideas and suggestions, but overdoing anything may not be the best thing to happen. Another important thing to note is, as well, Taurus, you have to make sure that you seek the leverage of your superiors, your bosses, or any guru or mentor that you have in life. A lot of us do find our managers, our bosses as mentors as well, and they help us grow and do exceedingly well. I wouldn't be surprised if many of you find opportunities with the help of your leaders, with your managers itself, to explore, opportunities outside your current location. And this would mean that there will be travel opportunities for you related to work, or there could be triggers of getting relocation because of work, not only in your country but abroad as well. In fact, many of you Taurus guys would find that a lot of your immigration related matters, international affairs, you also see a trigger during these 4 months. Last but not the least, this is also a period where you will face some health related expenses. You have to be careful in monitoring your health regimen, and make sure you continue with a disciplined routine for the next 4 months. If not done so, you will run the risk of making that expenses into hospitals. To avoid anything of that sort, other than your learning and physical labor, also spend some time to maybe do charity or donation activities. That is going to be very, very helpful and cut through your losses that could potentially come. However, overall, I see a very positive period coming in for you as well, Taurus. Thank you. Gemini, as you guys can see that Jupiter is getting retrograded for you in your 12th house. Now, from the 12th house perspective, it is going to be impacting your 6th house, your 8th house, and your 4th house where Ketu has been placed. More important to note is that this Jupiter is the lord of your 7th and your 10th. So, definitely, all these house placements are going to see some or the other impact. First and foremost, you've been seeing a lot of expenses coming in for you in the last few months, or especially in the last few weeks. The first change that you are going to see is that there are going to be some definitive gains coming your way. First and foremost, I see the opportunity in terms of some kind of a job. It is a possibility that many of you might be looking for the right job opportunities which haven't been coming your way. These 4 months will be a trigger when you might find a new job offer coming your way. The other possibility is people who are already working. You will have opportunities to either make a switch or get a promotion in your current job itself. I see more of a possibility of switch because Jupiter's impact towards the 11th would mean additional gains coming your way. Role-based increments might be less of a chance. You may also want to explore opportunities within your existing organization and see how you could increase your take home salaries or any additional bonuses within these 4 months. People in sales incentives see special success in that. Or, it could be anything related to the field of medicine too. You have to understand that this is a period where you could expand on your network circle. Try and meet people from different walks of life. If you can associate people from different cultures, from your workplace, away from your birthplace, that is going to be very, very beneficial for you. There is also going to be an improvement in the amount of hard work that you start putting in. You might take in certain initiatives towards either remodeling your house or maybe repurposing something with respect to real estate at your home itself. It is important for you to see that how the overall chart is behaving for you and responding and accordingly take those calls. However, taking small initiatives in terms of uh, creating places of worship or a small temple unit within your home might not be surprising. I expect many of you might take some kind of new resolutions as well with the new year coming during this 4 month period as well, and that would be towards the commitment in terms of work and life balance that you might want to drive in. By the way, it is also possible that you will create some additional interest in terms of researching new areas. Many of you will be taking initiatives towards either picking up new courses or reskilling. This is a time when all of us are seeing tremendous industry transformation through AI and whatnot happening in technology. It is important for you to leverage this transformation in whatever walk of life you are in. It's highly possible that the Gemini ascendants will be making use of this as well. I would also want to call out that this is also a period where you have to be specifically careful towards your health. There could be certain challenges, certain unforeseen medical situations that might come your way. It would nothing be serious, but yes, you will have to be careful in terms of following your daily regimen because somewhere or the other that could be problematic. If there are any student audience watching this video, it is important that you put in your best effort towards any competitive examinations that you are preparing for. There are chances where you might find right success if you are approaching it in the right direction. However, there are many of you who could encounter problems as well from that perspective. So please prepare well. And I don't want to throw any negativity, and that's where I'm giving this as a caveat and as a warning to you. Another important bit is that many of the Geminis will see new relationships coming up in the next 4 months. From a romance perspective, new bonding perspective, even new investment strategies perspective, you will be having a lot of ideas in your head, and you would want to figure out that how can you utilize those ideas into making short term gains. It is a good period for you to materialize on that. Please figure out the right strategies for the same and do not make speculative measures to find those gains or desire fulfillment. I also see many of you taking some kind of short term travel and journeys during this period. I think it may not be a bad idea for you to combine fun visits, leisure trips, along with spiritual activity. It is going to be very, very beneficial. If not, you could travel to nearby places of worship, a church, temple, or whatever your belief system is. That activity once a week or once a month over the next 4 months is going to add to the gains that might come your way. So I hope, guys, you've enjoyed this reading. And if you have, please smash that like button. Thank you. Cancer. It is important for you to understand that your sixth lord and your ninth lord is going to get retrograded in your 11th house. I think this is one of the best periods that you're going to have in this entire transit, guys. With Jupiter getting retrograded in your 11th and sort of appearing to be moving towards your 10th house is going to form a very strong Dhani Yoga in the transitory situation. Jupiter gets exalted in your Lagna. And in a way, it is a very friendly sign for you, planet for you, which is sitting in the 11th in the retrograded position. Now, this is a period where you are going to see growth in terms of your asset, your mental peace, and satisfaction in the next 4 months. You are going to find a lot of confidence growing in you in terms of your desires getting fulfilled, and that too because of your own efforts. So, you will not leave any stone unturned during this period. If at all there are any situations where you get this feeling of being lethargic and lazy, I would urge you to please fight that feeling and work hard. See, one of the tricky situations that I find that when Jupiter is in the 10th house is that it tends to do damage there. It's not the best placement for it. But in a retrograded position, I feel that it is a good situation for you to be in because all that problematic scenario kind of washes away by itself. So, in this situation, what you will find is that you would be setting goals for the next 120 days for yourself, and you would be putting in efforts, not only the materialistic goals, but the spiritual goals as well. First and foremost, from a job front, I see you doing pretty well. Second, from a loans perspective, if you are trying to do something in terms of any kind of home remodeling, repair, restructuring, and you want to procure certain loans against it, I think you will be very, very successful in terms of taking those expansionist activities. However, please do not get into unexpected challenges with your enemies or you know creating enemies by yourself. I know that is not your tendency because you are peace loving people. However, the risk is that even if there is a slight chance, it would unnecessarily take away the opportunity of you doing something much better than that. My recommendation to you would be to focus your energies towards the positive side of things in your life because it is one of the best periods for you in the next 4 months. Then there would also be situations for many of you that there is a possible relocation, transfer in job, or new opportunities from a career perspective coming your way. Your bosses might reach out to you proactively and ask for your suggestions if you might be open to take up new challenging roles. It will not be a bad idea for you to explore that, but please be clever about it. If any such opportunity comes your way, ask what is in it for you. Because not only you are going to take up a new role, this is also an excellent opportunity to find new gains. So capitalize on that. Then from your mother's health perspective, some of you might be seeing challenges in the last few weeks on that front, and you will find some reprieve in that area. So things seem to be getting better. From a home environment perspective as well, I see a lot of calm and peace. You will be very, very efficient in terms of your productivity and making sure you are finding enough life balance to manage things in terms of your hobbies too. You would be picking up some new habits as well during this period. Last but not the least, this retrograded Jupiter is going to help you increase in your savings too. It is going to ensure that you take up new investment avenues or, in a way, new mechanisms to save more money, which you might have struggled. Yes, you've done pretty well in terms of adding on to the gains, but expanding in terms of the right investments that can give you long-term returns is a very, very strong possibility during these 4 months. Ensure that your Lord of Destiny coming into retrogradation is giving you all these opportunities and you grab it with both hands. This is an excellent period for you, Cancerians, and you should not let it slip by. If you've liked this reading, please smash on that like button. Thank you. Leos, the Jupiter planet is going to get retrograded in your 10th house. It is the lord of your 5th as well as your 8th. It has been sitting in the 10th, and you know that I'm not very fond of Jupiter being in the 10th. But this retrograde movement of Jupiter is going to be an opportunity for you. Because this is a period you have to bring in a lot of hustle, lot of energy in your life. You are going to see one definitive change. Any kind of procrastination that you had so far, you are going to give that up and you are going to work hard. Next 4 months, I see not only fortune will be helping you, but you have the right mentors, the right guides, the right teachers, push you, motivate you to achieve your goals. Now, those mentors could be your spouse, could be your father, your boss, your manager, or anybody whom you seek guidance, whom you seek inputs from. It could be your friend as well. Very high chances because it gets retrograded towards the martial sign of Aries. So I would not be surprised if any of your friends give you advice and they push you to achieve your goals, and please listen to those advice and keep that hustle on. Generally, you are not the ones who let things slip out of your hands, but things haven't been very smooth because of the other transits. But these 120 days are going to give you that window where you see yourself taking those measures. I also see many of you taking spiritual retreats, short term journeys, long term pilgrimages, even work related travel into long distances is very, very prominent. There are many of you who could get new work opportunities where you are required to travel for long distance. It could be any kind of a relocation or resettlement in a new geography. If any opportunity comes your way, please weigh all the options and then move ahead. This is also a window where you are going to work towards expanding your knowledge. Your knowledge expansion is going to be very, very critical because it is going to help you add to your wealth. You are going to have good periods of family time. It could be short picnics, short getaways, or just sitting in your backyard and sipping that margarita. This Jupiter is also going to give you certain triggers with respect to your job. From a job perspective, it might be important for you to take up new initiatives that you are not very comfortable or excited about. Don't let that slip. It's a good opportunity for you because it is going to give you the long term outcomes. Yes, there will be areas where your peers might to shove in some work towards your end. Make sure that if any of that situation arises, you are highlighting it to your leadership and to your bosses and blow your own trumpets. It is very, very important for you, Leos, because you don't do that. You believe in terms of shining yourself, and yes, to a certain extent, you do. But this is a period where you have to do it. You have to blow your trumpet. You have to go and sing about the kind of work that you've been doing. It's also going to be a period where you are going to take in certain new investment avenues. Now, my belief is, Leos, that you should not be getting into any kind of speculative activities. So stay away from the cryptocurrencies of the world or any kind of stock options which are not uh, which are not technology companies, or technology areas. I think somewhere or the other, your investment strategy has to tie in into technology areas as well, because that is going to help you. Now, it could be technology stocks itself, or you could be leveraging technology to gain insights and then make your investments. It's also very, very crucial time for you to spend some time with your children, because they need your guidance how they can come out as better principled beings. And if you do that, you will see that the success of your kids is also going to follow in the next few months. Apart from this, some of you who are appearing in competitive examinations, you will find luck will favor. Make sure but you are not only dependent on work, because this retrograde Jupiter expects you to work hard. Please take due caution of your food habits. There is a possibility that you might indulge yourself in some high rich foods, which might bring in some weight gain as well. So you should be watchful of this entire 4 month period, because I see many of you Leos gaining weight during this period. If you've enjoyed this reading, then please like and subscribe to Date Astrology. Thank you for watching. Virgos, Jupiter is getting retrograded for you in your ninth house. It is the lord of your fourth and your seventh, sitting in your ninth. It is going to be a very interesting period, because this Jupiter gets powerful and is going to expand into your business activities, your partnerships, your alignment with the social world in itself. It is also going to bring expansionist mindset towards, you know, growing your wealth, adding to your savings, and finding peace. However, in retrograde motion, unexpected challenges are expected for you. In the next 4 months, you might encounter certain problems which you had not planned for. It could be expenses that you had not thought of. And that is why it is critical for you to ensure that you have a certain rainy day savings in place. Spend time, effort, and energy in terms of either doing charitable activities, donations, or actually walking to the nearest place of worship and offering prayers. It is going to be a very good remedy for you guys to counter those unexpected problems that could come in this retrograded transit for you. This is also a good time for you to energize yourself in terms of efforts that you make towards your family. Doing simple activities at home, say supporting your family members in making preparation of food itself, or adding any kind of supportive activities that brings them some peace and satisfaction, is going to be one another remedy for you guys to increase your wealth, savings, and more importantly, peace of mind. So please try and do that as well. There are certain situations where you would anticipate, especially people who are running their own enterprises, their own businesses, that luck is not favoring you. You could be in certain situations where you might see unexpected loss. You might want to do spiritual activities, as I mentioned a couple of minutes back, or get consultation from some guru, mentor, teacher, any colleague, any business partner or friend of yours, and their recommendation in terms of what needs to be changed, how you need to pivot, is going to be very, very critical in these 4 months. Some of you might struggle from a health perspective. So please make sure that you are making self efforts towards consuming good food, because I anticipate risk of you consuming a lot of rich food and adding to your weight as well during this period. The other bit for you to note is that you are going to get an aspect from this retrograded Jupiter into your fifth house as well. It is a very crucial time for you to put in some efforts and energies with your kids. They might need your guidance and support during this period. They will need you to coach them with the right set of principles. If not that, if you are single, I see that some of you would be making new relationships, but they may not be long lived. If you are already in relationships, you might find those relationships either coming to an end or some sort of a change to that relationship itself. Please understand, it could translate into marriage. There could be small periods where you lack peace because of your romantic partner. That during this 4 month period, do not get into any speculative investments. In fact, just stick to the investment strategies that you've been following thus far and do not necessarily plan any new investment goals. They may not exactly work for you as anticipated. So wait retrograded Jupiter to become direct so that it gives you the right results as you anticipate. So being cautious and strategic about your overall investment portfolio is very, very important. From a health perspective, I've already given a call out. Please do spend some time in terms of your own efforts and energies to cook for yourself or make right choices with respect to food, because that is going to impact your health, your gut health specifically. Donations are critical, but if not that, you can anticipate that you will be doing some sort of a expense towards hospitalization. Now, that could be either for your own health or for your mother's health as well. I hope you found this reading fruitful. If you have, then please smash on that like button and subscribe to Dave Astrology. Thank you, guys. Libras. As you know that Jupiter is getting retrograded for you in your 8th house. Now with this retrograded Jupiter, what you are going to observe is that there are going to be potentially some minor turbulences in your married life. Now from a turbulence perspective, what I anticipate is that some of you might see an increased involvement of your in-laws. They could either be visiting you over holidays or just be poking in your day-to-day activities. Please be watchful and do not create any kind of situations that create a conflict with your partner. Jupiter is the lord of your 6th as well as your 3rd house. You could also be spending some amount of energy in terms of pursuing things that you should not be. So I would urge some of you to please be careful in terms of not doing certain shady activities outside your marriage. However, outside of that, what I see, if you have your married life sorted, there is a very definitive possibility of you utilizing these 4 months towards increasing your wealth. You will be working hard by yourself and for yourself to expand your profession. Most probably, if you're in a job, this is a period where you could do well in terms of your career growth. Some sort of a change in profession or growth in profession might come your way, and it would be least expected when you get that kind of an opportunity. Please weigh all your options and grab it with both hands. This is a period where you will gain respect as well from your peers. In fact, from the larger world itself. Why? Because you could immerse yourself in learning new things. You could immerse yourself in research, in figuring out where you need to reskill yourself and upskill yourself. And that will definitely show off in the long term. You will be enabling yourself on the spiritual path as well. These 4 months, for people who are interested in their self enlightenment, will find lots of success in terms of reading books, in terms of discovering new blogs, podcasts, YouTube channels, or any source, any medium that you find useful for yourself. Your partner in itself could help you achieve that. And what you will find is that this spiritual investment in terms of your energy and time is going to bear the fruits in your materialistic life as well. This retrograded Jupiter will also have an impact in your family life, in your home front. Some of you might be taking measures in terms of either exploring the possibility of buying a new home, new property, or a new vehicle, or it is that you might want to just make an upgrade to your existing assets. I would want you to stretch beyond means. Any kind of travel, if associated with a spiritual journey as well, is going to bring you gains. It's going to bring wish fulfillment. Rather, if I put it this way, that if you go to a place of worship and you express or pray for your desires, your goals and objectives, these 4 months are the period where they could come to fruition. Instead of a place of worship, you could actually spend time with your bosses or your father, your guru or mentor, and their benediction, their guidance, and their support could also be paving the way for you to find those gains. But remember, none of these gains will come when you expect, they will come when you least expect them. So, work with just karma in mind and not the outcome, as Krishna says. That is what this Jupiter is going to teach you in the next 4 months. Last but not the least, this is also a period where you need to take care of your health as well. Not just your health, but the health of your spouse as well. So make sure you inculcate good habits, good food habits specifically, so that there are no challenges coming. Because if you do not take care of that particular aspect, I do see the risk of some sort of medical expenses also cropping up. People who are anticipating or wanting or preparing for divorces and stuff, you might actually find success in that journey. I hope you've enjoyed what this Jupiter retrograde reading meant for you. If you have, please smash on that like button and subscribe to Dave Astrology. Thank you for Scorpios. As you know that Jupiter is going to get retrograded for you in your 7th house. It is the lord of your 2nd and your 5th sitting in your 2nd and appears to be moving towards the 6th house. So what essentially I would want to say is that first and foremost, please be careful towards your own health as well as your partner's health. I anticipate that during the course of these 4 months, you could face some sort of health challenges, and it is very, very important for you to focus towards your health regimen. Please figure out some ways to either exercise or inculcate some good food habits. And it should be something not just practiced for yourself, but also for your spouse. There is a very strong possibility that you could add to your weight during this period as well. It is also a period where you should be enriching yourself with spiritual enlightenment. You should make visits to any kind of places of worship in whatever you believe in, or doing any kind of spiritual activities, donations, charitable activities that give you mental peace. It's a very, very good period for you to do so. It's also a good period in the sense that in the next 4 months, you will find gains coming through your profession or from your own karma. Any kind of new initiatives that you will be taking during this period, any kind of new journey that you have planned, from a new strategic investment. And when I say investment, this is not the stock market investment, but the investment towards your career, in terms of taking up new courses, in terms of reskilling, upskilling yourself. Anything of that sort is going to be very, very helpful for you because it is going to bring in long term gains for you. This is also a period where you will try and strike some balance between work and life. You would want to balance your efforts towards spending more time with your family. It is important for your emotional and mental health. There could be certain challenges that might be coming your way from a work front perspective. So continue to work hard, and I'm pretty sure this Jupiter retrograded, being the lord of your 2nd and 5th, is going to help you with creative ways to find solutions to those problems. Do not embark on some extraordinary loans based investments or plans, because that could be tricky and may not work in your favor. It is very important for you also to not pick up new enemies or unexpected competition. Any kind of enemies coming your way would just be a time waste for you, and you should not be spending your energy in that direction at all. In fact, any amount of time spent in that direction will crop up more enemies for you during this period. So if you find somebody not behaving exactly as you would anticipate, the best strategy would be to just move on and let them be. This is also an important time for you to gain some knowledge, reskill and upskill yourself. You are going to pivot yourself in terms of the new avenues that I was referring from your career and karma perspective. Well, this approach is a remedy and preparation because it is going to bring the gains or the desired fulfillment that you seek. All in all, I think this period is going to be a tremendously extraordinary period for you, only if you do not indulge in lethargy. Fight your laziness, because this retrograde Jupiter also impacts through its debilitated aspect your third house. Yes, finding balance with work is important, but overcoming your procrastination is going to be a very important for you guys to pursue. I hope, Scorpios, you've enjoyed this reading, and if you have, please smash on that like button and subscribe to their astrology. Thank you. Sagittarius, for you guys, your Lung Lord himself is getting retrograded in the sixth house itself. It's your Lung Lord as well as the Lord of your fourth house. Now, one thing is for sure, you are going to see a definitive expansion in terms of your hard work, in terms of your knowledge, in terms of your principles, your goals and objectives that you have in your mind. And that is going to reflect in your career specifically. You are going to be putting in a lot of work towards your career, towards your profession, towards your daily regimen during this time. I also see you guys expanding on your base, expanding on your calmness, expanding on your knowledge in terms of your assets as well. In 120 days, you might explore the possibility of purchasing something new, some sort of an asset, be it an immovable asset or a movable asset. But it is going to be a long term asset which is going to stick with you. There is also a possibility that many of you might have the urge to go beyond your means and take some extraordinary amount of loans for the same. You will be able to secure that kind of a loan easily. But my recommendation is not to put yourself into unnecessary trouble. However, in the long term, you will still be able to navigate smoothly. You might get competition from unexpected quarters, and you may struggle in terms of overcoming that competition. What do I mean by that? If student audience are watching this video and you expect to be getting into some sort of an entrance examination and stuff, it is very important for you to focus how you strategize for the selection into those examinations. Just brute force of hard work is not going to help you if you are appearing into those competitive examinations during this period itself. However, for people in general, you will see that people around you are unnecessarily getting jealous. They are trying to draw parallels with you when you have not been even giving heed to them. I think the best strategy would be for you to just move on and focus towards your own energies. This is a period for you to be creative, pick up some new pursuits, try and learn something new. And specifically, if it is something vocational outside of your profession, interest into new romantic relationships is also highly possible for my Sagittarius friends. You might come in contact with someone new, and that is predominantly post your existing relationships. If you in relationships, I see a possibility of them breaking up and you exploring things beyond the current person. It is also going to be a very good period for you to make new investment plans. Unlike for some of the other zodiac signs, your Lagna Lord is going to be favorable towards you making short term choices that give you short term results and profits. Work towards them. Set certain goals and objectives for yourself that you want to achieve in the next few months. And I think the next 4 months is going to be the period where you can actually devise the strategy roadmap and accomplish those targets. It could be as simple as, learning a new instrument, or picking up a much more difficult task of, say, climbing Himalayas, right? The point I'm trying to make is whatever the challenge is, you will be able to overcome that challenge if you strategize around it. This retrograded Jupiter is also going to make sure that you make certain kind of investments, or your energies could be driven to anything internationally. So, from a job perspective, for example, you might see movement in terms of your immigration status. People who've been looking for PR, residentship, green cards, you might find success in that. Fulfillment towards spiritual goals. You might get associated with a guru who might give you long term learnings as well. This is also a period where you might put in energies in terms of visiting a new place of pilgrimage, a new place of worship. Good period for you to do that because it is going to bring you a lot of mental peace and gain. Overall, this looks a decent time. The only caveat I have for you is please be watchful of your health. You have to be doing proactive measures to ensure you do not fall sick or just get your regular checkup done so that if there is anything hidden unseen, you can address that proactively. If you can take care of your health and take into account all the things that I've addressed, I think this is going to be a fabulous 4 month period for you. Thank you for watching, guys. Capricorns, for you guys, your Jupiter is getting retrograded in your fifth house. Now, Jupiter is the lord of your 12th and your third house for you, sitting in your fifth. Now, sitting in retrogression here, it is definitely going to empower all your strategies with respect to your creativity, your investments, your romances, as well as your education. I think first and foremost, what you are going to notice is that your investments done in the next 4 months are going to yield tremendous amount of returns. It should not be surprising for you at all to find that gains come your way, windfall gains come your way when you least expect that to happen. This is a period where all your past karma and investment strategies are flourishing with materialistic outcomes. When I say investments, please do not just refine that into your stock market investments or your trading investments in general. This is your investment in your knowledge. This is your investment in terms of your skills, your education, which is going to bear fruits. So, students, if you are watching this, all the efforts that you've put in is going to result in you getting the selection into the right colleges. If you are a working professional, all the reskilling, the code bases that you've written, the upskilling that you've done to add new skill sets in yourself is going to help you see that promotion at your workplace. This is going to be a period where you are going to find wish fulfillment specific to your career goals. And that is what is going to be taking you to the next level from your career progression as well. So within these 4 months, many of you might see a career progression, upgrade, and potentially a switch in job as well if you've been aspiring for that. At the same time, because of all this hard work that you've put in the last few months, you might get a chance to put up your feet on the table and relax. You might have already met the goals, objectives that you had planned for, and you are going to see these 4 months as a period to reap those benefits. So it may not be a bad idea to give a pat on the back to yourself and see how you can relax yourself mentally as well, emotionally as well during this period. You will develop a lot of interest in some kind of hobbies, creative pursuits, listening to new kind of music, exploring new genres, exploring some very different activities that you haven't explored yet in your life. Good period for you to indulge yourself in those areas too. Please do not leave any stone unturned in terms of learning new things. You've been very good at it, but you are going to get true knowledge during this period outside of the degree or outside of world's acceptance to what you've learned. Understanding of the subject, whatever that be, is going to come to you as simple as, let's say, cooking. I would want you to get a perspective from that angle as well. I see many of you taking some unexpected long distance travel. I don't think this travel is going to be anything related to relocation per se, but it could be related to profession. Your work might require you to travel for a certain period of time. You might be expected to take a brief, short term relocation related to work. Some of you could also plan for pilgrimages in areas which are not very common. It is not one of the popular spiritual destinations, but something that is unexpected. Caveat is that during this period, please be watchful towards the health of your parents. specifically the health of your father. That is going to be very, very critical at this point. I do not anticipate any risks to them, but yes, there are possibilities they might face certain health related issues. You will also be engrossed into activities that might not be bearing fruits to you immediately. Now, this would mean that you would be expected to do some charitable work or help people where you are not very much interested. But please do that, because that is going to add to some of the positive karmas, and those efforts will come back and help you as well. Let's take for an example, somebody asks you to help them during their marriage, or somebody asks you for your help towards any kind of spiritual places. It could be cleaning, it could be serving food. You might not be interested in doing that, but being a Scorpio ascendant and being governed by Saturn, that kind of investment of your energies is going to be a very fruitful activity. Last but not the least, please do take care of health during this period for yourself, because there are high chances that you could also develop certain food habits that might not be very fruitful for you. All in all, I think this is a decent period. These 120 days will bring you a lot of calmness, relaxation, peace, because you are going to reap what you've already sowed. I hope this makes sense to you, Capricorns. If it does, please smash on that like button and subscribe to Dave Astrology. Thank you. Aquarius, Jupiter is getting retrograded for you in the fourth house. First and foremost, a warning here. These 4 months could be very, very critical from your emotional well being perspective. There is a possibility that you might get bothered with certain work related pressures. But do not worry, you will be able to overcome those challenges. Stress will come your way, but if you continue to push yourself in the right direction with the support of your superiors, your managers, your leadership, you will do well. And yes, be mindful that support of your leadership be available to you. They might throw certain difficult problems at your end, but I think people who have the ability to overcome those challenges are the ones who get those challenges. This is also a very critical period from your spouse's health perspective as well as from your mother's health perspective. I think it could be an either or situation. So please make sure that in both these scenarios, you do take enough time to help them, support them in whatever ways you can, because they will need your support. During this retrograde, what you will find is that you will be putting in a lot of efforts towards taking certain measures that add to your wealth. There could be some interest in your mind in terms of either purchasing a new asset or buying a new vehicle. And yes, it is very much possible for you to even accomplish that, because it is sort of planned for you. You've been thinking about this for a long while, but do not stretch yourself into uncharted territories. Do not stretch yourself beyond your means, because if you do so, that could be a very, very tricky investment, and you might end up facing losses, incurring losses that you had not planned for. So please think from that perspective as well. There are certain losses that are definitely written from a health perspective, expenses written related to hospitalization or any kind of legal affairs. Now, that could be with respect to the mother's health or your spouse's health that I was referring to earlier, or it could be related to any kind of legal situations you could get into. My suggestion would be that instead of letting these expenses come over, better plan for some sort of donations, spiritual expenses, or charitable work you can undertake. I think taking up certain charitable activities is going to be one of the best remedies you can do during this transit. You can plan any amount or any sort of an activity, even physical labor towards that direction, and that is going to be very, very helpful. At the same time, this remedy is going to become a reason for you to find gains specifically on your work front. I think there will be a point at the fag end of this transit where many of you will see that the support of your bosses or leaders would be such that they could give you outcomes that you've least expected. Yes, I mean to say financial gains. It could be a bonus or some sort of an increment in your career growth or monetary growth. Feel free to set new goals and targets for yourself within the 120 days, because you will be able to achieve those with your efforts. So that is very, very important. You have to put in your energy against that goals and you will accomplish them. There is no stopping. Last but not the least, you have to be careful with respect to driving or any kind of accidents. That is also possible for some of you. You have to check your dashas and antardashas if that is promised in the natal chart. There are potential risks, but I don't see anything threatening as such for Aquarius. I hope this reading gives you enough sense to plan these 120 days. Please smash on that like button and subscribe to Dev Astrology. Thank you for watching. For you, your Lagna Lord itself is getting retrograded in the third house. This is going to be very interesting because whilst you've been putting a lot of hard work, you are also going to find some time for your family. You are going to find some time to indulge yourself during this period. And like the Sagittarius, I think this is going to be a very interesting and good period for you as well. What you would notice is that there could be certain challenges that might come your way from your work front, specifically from your bosses or your leaders who could be throwing some unexpected problems your way. But do not worry, because you will be able to overcome those problems as well. You will be able to, in fact, find gains at your profession, but they will come post you fighting those challenges. So do not be scared of those challenges, because they are here to make you stronger. They are here to make you better in these 4 months, in these 120 days. This is also a period where you have to take care of your spouse's health. This is a very crucial aspect that comes into play. So please spend some time in terms of doing joint activities. It could be something as simple as walking together or going for exercises together, or in terms of bringing good food habits. You will spend some quality time at home or with your family these 4 months, but you have to utilize this time in terms of inculcating new good habits as well. This is also a time where you could be bringing in a lot of enterprising nature in itself, a lot of enterprising mindset. You might come up with new ideas, you might pick up new habits, hobbies, and the goal ultimately in your mind would be to translate that into some sort of a wish fulfillment, some sort of a gain in the long term. It may not be a bad idea for you to explore. See, Jupiter's presence in the third has always been tricky, and it is not one of the most comfortable positions for Jupiter. But being in retrograde, it is going to move towards adding to your wealth. It is going to move towards growing your assets. You are also going to potentially pick up eating a lot of rich food during this period, which might result into gain of weight. So please be mindful of that. But more importantly, how does that impact your health and your partner's health is what you have to take care of. See, from your health perspective, unnecessary problems can come if you do not keep a check of what is going into your system, specifically your gut health. So please be mindful in terms of not consuming too much of a fried food and things like that, and focus as to what is more clean, sattvic food during this period. That is going to be very, very helpful. You have to also understand that during this period, you might be inclined towards taking a lot of short journeys, short trips with your families and friends. You might go for certain outings, and some sort of long term journey is also written for the card at least once during this 4 month period. Last but not the least, it is very important for you to jot down the plans that you have in place in terms of the goals that you set. Writing them and expressing them, especially using technology, is going to be very, very helpful. It is a very weird remedy that I'm giving you, but please take a note of it. It is going to be helpful for you. Be a planner in your day to day life. It is going to bring in efficiency, and efficiency is the key for you in these 4 months, because you are going to try and strike balance between work and life. So whilst you do that, it is important for you to please keep a check on your productivity as well, so that you are making sure that the problems coming at you from your work perspective, you are able to overcome them, succeed at them, and finally find what you are seeking. I hope this makes sense. If it does, please smash on that like button and subscribe to Dev Astrology. Thank you for watching.